So, welcome everybody. So, we're going to talk about financial planning meets Power BI. It's an exciting topic. A lot of participants joining us today and this morning.
Yep.
We're using a new platform used for Univid for the webinar. So, we hope every technical things is sorted out and it's going to be flawless. But if not, bear with us. It's always like that. All the participants is muted, but you can use the chat or the Q&A. We have one person monitoring it as well, Amund.
Yep.
So if there are questions, he can probably answer them, I hope.
Questions related to
financial,
Power BI,
the Power BI portion mostly. We will also, if there are time in the end of the webinar, we will be answering some questions there. When we do run some of the, so practical, when we run the webinar, and especially when we go into some of the products, please, you can use the maximize button to make it as big as you can, so you can see more. So let's get rolling.
Yep.
My name is Stig Sandvik. I'm the VP for Product Strategy, and with me I have Joachim.
Yeah, I'm the product manager for profit-based visuals. So.
Yeah. A little bit, you will probably see it through the presentation as well. We are Hypergene, and we would just kind of profit-based were acquired by Hypergene last summer. So it will be our product line is the profit-based product line, but the company is Hypergene. Hypergene is mostly Nordic, but we have some offices in Germany as well. We deliver budgeting and forecasting, performance management, consolidation, and supporting the finance team primarily. But we obviously have the Power BI portion as well, which we support more the technical side of reporting. Getting started, let's talk about the CFO platform. CFO platform is a platform to support the finance function. As an example, this is visualization. You can see your source system on the right side. It could be the ERP system. Most of the time it would be for the financial transactions. You have the CRM, data warehouse. Some have data warehouses, some don't. So it could be anything. Then we have solution layers and the modules on the middle layer here. So in this case, we have budgeting and forecasting, which we're going to touch up today. We also have risk consolidation, different custom apps, and then you will have your business intelligence output from the solution layer into, for example, Power BI. It could be Click and others, but at least in the Nordic, we see more and more Power BI being the dominant player on the BI side. We also have our core layer where we're using business automation, where we're building our applications, so forth. So that's also relevant in this case. This is also a visualization, kind of how it flows as an example for the CFO platform. So we have the source data. We have a staging area where we typically do the extract. It's a good way to check if everything is extracted correctly. So you can go into the staging area, look at that. Then we have the solution, and then we have the output that the solution layer is giving. Either is a full-blown general ledger account with P&L, balance sheet, and cash flow, and then it flows in as an export into Power BI. And on that note, we're going to start a video. And there will be a Q&A just kind of on what type of tools you're using on the BI side.
Financial reporting and Power BI? Didn't know you were that experienced.
I'm not, but it's not that hard.
But you're missing the subtotals.
I know, just adding that now. Give it a name and a formula.
What? How? But you're still missing a couple.
These?
Yes. But look at your margin. It's not formatted correctly. Good luck with that, Dax.
DAX? You mean this?
Right. the margin should have some different styling.
Like this?
How? And if I want to drill to see details,
Adding a level and then click expand. Same for headers?
I've never seen expansion symbols for headers before. Okay, this is impressive, but can you export to Excel?
Just click here.
What kind of magic is this?
It's not magic, it's profit base.
Is it magic?
No, it's not
Joachim?
magic.
It's not magic,
No.
no. So I think we will go a little bit into the details. So this is a commercial for the visuals, which we sell globally. It's part of the Power BI ecosystem. Quite a few of the attendees here today probably have been using it, but maybe not to the larger extent. A little bit the history behind why we created these visuals. In the past, Profit Base had their own BI tool, which is called Profit Base in front, which is a great BI tool, but we saw also that the speed of the development in the BI, software space was going quite quickly, and we saw Microsoft kind of going full in for the Power BI. We thought we're not going to win that race. Let's play with the players that is doing this full time. So we instead said, okay, let's use the reporting side to be Power BI or Click or others, and then just facilitate the export and making sure that we have the models in place. But then we saw there was quite a few large gap in the actually offering from Microsoft. And when we looked at the request list, you cannot expand on columns, subtotals and so forth. So we said, okay, we need to fix this before we can promote it to our customers and prospects. So that's when we introduced the financial reporting matrix as a part of kind of plugging that gap. So Joachim, you're going to go through some features that we have in the financial reporting matrix and give a snapshot of kind of what it does and what it cannot do and so forth.
Yes. So hi, everyone. Nice to see so many people interested in what we do. And I'm Joachim, and in the chat is my colleague Ahmed, and we're part of the visual team, and we make and maintain these visual products that we have. So today we're going to look at the FOM, or Financial Reporting Matrix, which is our most popular visual. And this is not a how to make a P&L type of webinar. It's just more a showcase of some of our key features. So just piggybacking on the commercial, I'm just going to show you some of the things that were shown there. So the point of using our visual is to make creating P&L reports easier in Power BI. So the thing that he showed in the commercial is the ability to add rows to your report. Simply go into edit mode and you click add row. And you can see here on the applied steps list, you can see the rows that we have added, and you can also see the formulas that we have created on top here.
So before you go kind of further, just kind of from the poll, just to see the audience. So we have 47% using Excel today as the reporting.
Okay.
So obviously this is new for them. So we're going to go through to get some feeling of that. 41% is using Power BI as their primary BI tool.
Yeah.
6% is using Click and 6% is using others. So a good mix. Power BI and Excel is the dominant, which we know in many cases. But hopefully this will give more flavor of what Power BI can do and this visual specifically.
Yes. So our goal is to kind of bridge the gap between Excel and Power BI and just make it easier for people to convert and transfer to Power BI.
Yeah.
And you don't need to know a lot of DAX to use our visual.
So what is DAX?
It's like the programming language for Power BI. So if you want to hard code reports, you use DAX for the logic And,
Okay. Yeah.
So we're trying to avoid that, or make it
simpler.
easier for people to create their reports in Power BI. So we also have this column expand option that you saw.
Yeah. Which we have had in Excel for long time. So you expect a report to be able to do a column scan.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's something that users were missing when converting to Power BI, and we thought, hey, why don't add that as an option?
So is a given one for
So that's one of our key features. We're going to touch on it a bit later, but when you export a report from a tool like CFO platform, you get the reports already formatted because you have this. Just see, you have this report line JSON, which if we remove it from the report, you just see the raw data.
So this is kind of a report definition that's coming from another system.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you import from another reporting system that has the JSON capabilities, you can just plot this in to your visual, and your table or your report is formatted based on the information.
So I'm going to touch a little bit on how you create in the CFO platform this JSON string. This is just the end output. When you have it, you just add it to your report, and then the definition. So you can maintain the JSON, the formatting in a tool that is maybe even easier than Power BI to maintain this portion.
Absolutely. So you can skip the whole step that we just went through with all the add rows and stuff that comes from the JSON.
Yeah.
Some other options. You have some row options where you can predetermine if a row is a cost. You can also choose if a row is going to be able, or if you're going to be able to expand a row. Also, just some technical stuff.
But if you go back to this one, I think this is interesting. So why is this to define something as a cost versus cost or an income? Why is that important?
Well, it's just something you can do if you want to create a var like this, where
it's a variance.
Yeah. So you can see here that the actual sale is lower than the budgeted sale. So you get negative value here, but the cost is lower. So you get the green value. This is
a typical use case where you have one column minus another, but income and cost is obviously not the same. So if it's green, if you have lower on the actual versus the budget, and the opposite on the income side. So you want to have coloring that reflects the view of that number, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So this is all conditional formatting that you can set up in the visual.
Okay.
These are like the row levels we assign, which you can use for formulas and for conditional formatting. You can customize the row header for your reports.
Okay.
You can see here that we have some lovely background colors options, and you can pretty much do anything that you would like visually. We also have a hide row feature, which if you select this visual and you go in here, so you can select hide empty rows so that you can have a clean report. And you can also make exceptions for show custom rows and show JSON rows.
This gives the flexibility, and I think one of the cases when you make formal reports in finance, that's why a lot of finance team is the last one using Power BI in some context of the formal reporting, because the lack of the ability to make it a more formal report, having spaces, white spaces and so forth in the actual output, versus a tool that's maybe is more when you use in a spreadsheet, you can make your white spaces as much as you like.
Yes, you can just.
But this is a data model, so it has more limitation. But by using the financial reporting matrix, you will be able to do that quite easily.
Yes, we're trying to make or give you the ability to affect the data that you import.
Yeah.
So Another thing you can do, this is just for the visual effect, you can choose a color for the expansion.
So as soon as you expand,
row.
it becomes another color.
Yes.
Yeah. That's neat because you will, sometimes you get lost kind of on what level you are at and how far you are, or what is the top line that you're looking at now.
Right.
So this is this.
So these are all like customer requests. So this is something that people wanted, and then we
Makes sense.
Yeah, of course we make it, and we also have a list of alternative expand icons. So here we have a nice little arrow, and because some people use plus and minus icons in the rows for the different values, so they said, hey, why can't you create some other
minus
icons?
minus is plus, and that doesn't work when you have that in your text title. So
So that's So to avoid confusion, we have some other options for you here.
Yeah.
We also have the ability for upward expansion, which was also a customer request. So you can.
I think it was a French one, odd one. I don't think it's that many. Hopefully, not too many French that's going to be upset with me. But
no comment.
No comment. But yeah.
You can also set a default drill down view or like expand view based on the row level that we have assigned. So this, you can see this is row level 1. So this is the default view when you open the report.
So that means that as soon as you get to the right level
as
a default,
avoid clicking and doing all this stuff. So and then we have a nice one, stepped layout. These I just have to say, these are not all exclusive to like our visual, but this is like a showcase of what you can do in Power BI visuals for your report. So this is the stepped layout, as you can see, and you get a new column over here for the description, and that's just to make it cleaner. And we can also turn off the parent name, like cost of goods. So if we go over here,
and when you are finding this, it's what we've done in the visuals here. We trying to replicate the view and UI that Power BI are using native. So instead of having kind of pans, it's kind of the same layout and to find stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. So whoever's using Power BI, you're probably quite familiar with this setup.
Think most people who use Power BI know this stuff already. So just to kind of show what we can offer. Ragged hierarchy, clean up duplicates and empty levels. You see here, level 3 is a duplicate of the parent, and there's also a blank column here.
It's quite common, right? So you have a deep structure, and you just kind of replicate the one to get to level 5, and then the report becomes messy. And you kind of drill.
So these are all like quality of life improvements. So instead of going to manually correct these things, we have like a functionality in the visual to just remove them for you. So
remove duplicates,
so you can see the top report here, which has ragged hierarchy turned off, where you have duplicates and empty levels, and the one on the bottom, those are removed.
And the whole point here is you keep the indent correctly depending on the levels you end up in. So if you're level 5, your indent is at the level 5.
Yes.
So you know still, and if you have conditional formatting, the level 5 is going to look slightly different, then you will automatically have the coloring and whatever.
Right. Yep. Yeah. And then we also have the ability to make custom measures in the report itself. In edit mode, you can select add column and add column formula, and then you can see here that we have made this measure, which is for bar.
So this is kind of, instead of using the model to create these measures, you can do it on the fly and just do like you did in Excel spreadsheet. You add a column and you do your formula and your formatting, and you have updated your report with this particular measure.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is just click and select. So it's and you also select
Style.
the style
Yeah.
over here, and we also have like format here if you want.
So this is just to make it closer to Excel, I would say, in the way of doing ad hoc. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a theme for the whole visual, basically. So you can also have measures, measure placement above the year columns.
That's quite cool. Do you see a lot of people using this?
I mean, it was a customer request, so some people are using it.
Yeah.
So we're just adding things that people want, and you can also use this, which is measures in rows.
Okay.
So just worth mentioning that if you use one of these two for the alternative measure placement, your conditional formatting will have to be like redone because it's such a big shift in the structure. We also have a row total, which is a total that is added.
Which is a standard Power BI, I think.
Yes, it is. So, but it just shows like you don't have to. I mean, you can affect your reports very easily in a visual. So just.
And the freezing is cool.
The freezing is cool. Yeah. So you go here to totals, and you can freeze the grand total, which, let me see. If you expand this, you see that the total stays.
It keeps it on the bottom, yeah.
On the bottom. And you can also add it to the top if you want.
Okay, yeah.
So it stays up there.
Yeah.
And we have column subtotals that you can add. You can see the top report here. No subtotals. And you can see the one on the bottom, subtotal for each column level. And we also have alternatives for column placement. And of course, we have options like grids for your report. And we have data bars.
Yeah,
as an
okay.
option.
So data bars, yeah.
So the one on the left, that's for like the maximum is for each child. So this is a maximum within here, and this is a maximum. And the one on the right, there's a maximum for the entire row level. So
okay, yeah.
I prefer this one. And then you have things like tooltips in Power BI. If you don't want to have the expand functionality, you can just hover over a number and you can see the drill down values.
Okay, yeah.
And one of our key features, or our new features, is the ability to comment on a report.
So comment on a cell, as we see there.
This is a comment on a cell,
yeah,
and this is a comment on a row.
Yeah.
So the cell comment stays in 2022. So if we switch to 2023, there's no comment. And if you click here, you can see you have 2 comments. And you can choose like colors and yeah. And these.
Well, this is quite cool, right? So to have comments inside a report that you can keep, when you go back, what was said, what was the comment on the specific line items, on departments down to year, month, and so forth, to have that. It still resides in the report, right?
Yes.
So it's this particular commenting will be in this specific reports, and we will show an example where the commenting will be residing more in a database where it then shows in the report. So it's kind of 2 ways of doing the same thing depending on kind of what your use case are.
Right, and these comments also follow if you like embed the visual in, say, like a PowerPoint.
Yeah.
So you can have like comments if you're doing a presentation and stuff like that. So
cool.
So the big one.
Of course, we want it down to Excel.
Download to Excel. Yeah.
That's a given.
That's probably our most popular feature, but it's also a very useful one. So something new for this feature is that if you have comments and you export to Excel, the comments will follow.
And this cool thing about this one is that it keeps the formatting and your drilling ability.
Yes.
As you have in your reports. So it kind of replicates that portion and keeping the commenting. And if you then want to do ad hoc analysis or do something here, you can add your own columns like you do in Excel and do your data analysis here if you want to.
Of course. Yep.
Which is really cool.
So, yep. We have a bunch of other features and some new features. That we have a commenting feature, which is coming in upcoming version, which we're going to publish to GitHub this week. So if you think that's interesting, just download it and give it a try.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, in the interest of time, I don't think we have time to go through all the
rest. It's I think it gives a good flavor of what kind of Power BI can do, and this is a lot of finance oriented portion. So that is great, Joachim. Yeah, if you give it a try, we have a free version, and if you use premium features, you will get a watermark, but you can still use it. And then if you think it's interesting and valuable for you, then maybe you buy a license. But
you can just
support the team.
Comment in the chat, and we can give you a full demo if you like. We can give you a link. Yep.
Actually, we had a poll on getting what kind of would you like to have. So just shoot in if there are things you're missing or things the people that has tried Power BI is struggling with. Let us know. We do have other visuals as well. So we have two more.
Yep.
3, I think, on if you take the commenting visual, the right back visual. We have one for Gantt, which is typical. What is that used for?
It's a project management kind of, it's
timelines, milestones, who owns it.
Yeah.
Could be task oriented, of course. Yeah, so typical in that portion.
Yeah, I think.
Typical Gantt.
Typical Gantt,
yeah. And then you have the risk matrix, which is also a very typical visualization of your matrix of typical 5x5, but you can have others where you have plotting your number of risk into a grid like that.
Yeah, it's our take on the risk matrix.
Yeah, it just makes it easier to, if you use Power BI, it's a standard visualization for that type, and it's quite difficult to get it done in Power BI if you don't have, because you need to plot coordinates and stuff like that.
So this is our take. We think it should be. So.
Yeah. So that's an easy one. So we're not going to go through any feature request here, but it's good to, if you have anything or want to talk to Amund or Joachim and the team, let us know. So then we're going to move a little bit in and change tempo a little bit. So we obviously want to be here, and Joachim was showing a lot of different types of reports and how you can create your reports. So being able to get here, and I get this question and I ask, okay, budgeting and forecasting, how do you do it? Yeah, we use Power BI, but then I always ask, okay, where does this number come from? That's something Excel or somewhere else. But so Power BI is a visualization tool. It doesn't necessarily create the numbers.
Nope.
So how does our CFO platform create the numbers? That's what we're going to go through now, and the data sets that's creating. And then you may end up in visualization like this. So, and that's this comic strip is trying to, so how do you provide input and comments? Yeah, it doesn't magically appears. And in this case, going in the back room and you see in this Ron characters that we use is then he has a system and it just kind of use the manual import and it's all chaos behind the scene. Let's see if we can address that and do it better. Going back to the CFO platform, I've gone through this already, but now we're going to focus on the budgeting and forecasting portion of it. Yeah, a little bit what is our goal and how do we position our CFO platform? And when we ask the CFOs if you're going to select a tool, would you like to have it off the shelf type, what you see, what you get, or do you want to have a full tailored to your specific need? And most is ending here, if you have a range in that upper corner here, that they want to have a lot of standardized, but they would like to have the flexibility to do these add-ons and or the last 10% to their process to be able to cater for, instead of shoehorning their process into a tool that's maybe not fitting them.
Right.
So that's where we think we're great at. We have our own platform that can cater for customization and still keeping the upgradability of the solutions. And that's the key. You have a standard, very strong standard product, and then you can do that last 10% customization. This is just a visualization coming from originally Gartner with all the CFO activities. We're not going to be an ERP system, and it's not going to be an ERP implementation either. We talk about a fraction of the time to implement a CFO platform versus an ERP system. We covering quite a bit of the activities of a CFO, not all, but our goal is to build the stronger and best CFO platform and to support the CFO activities now and the future. And they are changing. So before it was more limited, and you obviously have your accounting and all that, but it's now getting ESG, taxonomy, you have loan and portfolios management, you have disclosure management, you have quite a large range. You need to manage your risk in a company, and a lot of that ends up on the CFO's table. So our goal is to support as much as we can these activities. So today we're just going to go on the financial planning side primarily, and we have covered a little bit of the business intelligence of this. I mentioned that we have our building blocks, and our building blocks is our core platform, which we have profit-based Envision, which is a data modeling or a modeling low-code application builder. So that's what we're building our solution on. And that's why we are efficient to build any custom apps as well, because we can just use the same tool that we use for all the other solution, and we upgrade it for the whole stack. And then we have profit-based Flow, which is primarily is a data integration and process or business process automation tool, where we put in the logic and so forth. So it's a visual tool. I'm going to go in now into the solution. So here is kind of the concept. You will have your data coming in, your actuals and so forth from your source system. You will then build your forecast and budget, and then the output from that would be the data sets that you're creating, the solution. Here you will see I am an admin user, so I have access to everything. If you were an input user, you probably will only see, for example, if I take the forecast for this quarter, this plan overview, and you will see maybe just your department. Let me see. No. So here you have your department structure on the left side. Now I'm looking at department B, and if I was the owner of department B, maybe that's the only thing I see, and I can do input on. And the thing is that all the input that is given is just rolled up into your hierarchy. And instead of having, for example, a spreadsheet that you send out to everyone, you first you have to prepare it, and then you need to send it out, and then you need to collect it, and then you need to accumulate it or use your macros and kind of roll it up again. And then it's some mistake, somebody changed something in a spreadsheet, and then it breaks, and then you go back again.
Version 3 final.
Yeah, exactly. So by having a system that does this, speeds up the process significantly. And we see also the customer is able to do their forecasting quicker, and they can do it more often and more accurate. So this is an example of, I'm now looking at one department, and we have a red line here. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, you told me once, but I don't remember. Yeah.
The red line is that on the left side is the actuals, and on the right side is your forecast. So in this case, we have done Q1, and then we're now looking at the forecast for Q2 and onwards. The time frame that can be set can be, we set that for individual customer. This P&L structure is obviously just an example. This will be built for a specific customer. So don't get hung up with that. This doesn't look like yours. We're using this report, the input report, as a navigation in essence. So if I'm a department leader or an entity leader, I will click on the individual here and start filling out. So if I click on operational income, I will go into, in this case, for this particular department, I will run a consultancy business. So for this, I would do input on a driver-based model, which is the driving force here is invoiceable hours and invoiceable percentages. So I can go in and on individuals or on a group type of resource and give what's the expected invoiceable hours and percentages. And then behind that is running a drive-based model, a very simple one in this case, where you have your invoiceable percentage. If I click on period here, I can also change, for example, hourly rate. So if I'd say 1,600, so we don't think we're going to make the ones that was in the forecast, and click save, it will then run through using all the behind the scene logic and then calculate the new revenue, expected revenue for that one. So, and this could be centrally steered, so it's not possible for that individual to change this, or it is possible. So that's a setup thing.
Right. Yeah.
And so this is just one example of a driver-based model. If I go to this one, I think it has another type of drive-based model where it has, volume and price as an example, where you're putting your volume in and then it will calculate. This is typical, the model that people has in their spreadsheet today. So what we're doing is replicating that logic into a more robust system and make it also, in some cases, a little bit better and more transparent. And good thing is that you can have, for each individual company, you can have different models behind these lines. And you can obviously have, if I go down to as easy as other costs, there will be input on just accounts. So that's a traditional account input where you can put in that. You can also go to personnel, and then you will have a personnel module where you put in your FTEs, your head count, and so forth, and you will be calculating all the relevant costs. And that could be on individuals or, again, on a group of people. So this is how we build up the P&L. And what happens then is that this will create a data set. So for this particular version, this will be a data set. So that's how we go and build up our P&L. We can just show, and we have CAPEX, loan, and other things. A drive-based model, the key thing is here, when we've done the implementation, we expect and we do the training for the people, they will be able to maintain these models. So if I take the basic consultants that we looked at, you will see here that this is how it looks like. You have your drivers, you have your input. You can just add rows and put in your logic, and then you're good to go. You have built a model like you do in spreadsheets, with a little bit of training, and you have this in place, and you can maintain it yourself. That's the whole point. It's not the intention that we are the one that's gonna have to help. That was this one. If I go down to financial reports, your output. So we have obviously some reports in the system that is out of the box. So the data set is created, and you can get, like these compare reports. You can have cash reports. We're creating a full general ledger, both the balance the transaction on the GL, and you will have your in this case what's happening on the balance sheet on the cash side. So so that's part of the output, full future general ledger and transactions. If we go back to, I think that's a very short snapshot of how you do forecasting. And then it was, I think it's a question on how often you opt out to forecast. So this is going to be interesting to see how the team and the people in the chat and how they update and how often.
Yeah.
A lot of people going through, they do the budget in September, October, passing New Year. Most of the time it's outdated. Something happened. Donald Trump put some tariffs on something, and then everything shifted. So being able to update your forecast on a regular basis, I think it's part of being agile and being able to be on top of your business in essence. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
So let's see if we have some answer on this one. Let's see here, using my phone here to look at. So monthly, 23%, quarterly, 40, 2 or 3 times a year, 37. Yeah, so a good mix, which I kind of expected. And sometimes I feel it is because the time consumption, especially on the budgeting side, which is also political and a lot of things, is time consuming. So they it takes too much time, so we cannot do it more often. So if they have better support, I think they would do it more on a frequent basis. And that can cost you a lot of money if you don't have the right decision-making material for the boards or for your leadership. Now I'm going to talk about some of the things that is common across our solutions. So we call it a CFO, the hub. So it has also the user management, it has the dimension management, financial data mart, versioning. Versioning is a very important concept that I'm going to show that we use for multiple purposes. So as I mentioned here, dimensions. So going in here and to my dimension management. Here you will have a set of solutions. So if I go into the forecast version and this that I was looking at, I will have all my dimensions here. They will typically come from the ERP system or other systems. But in many cases, if I take the department structure that we saw earlier, be able to plan on dimension that doesn't exist in your transaction system. So in your ERP, for example, is important. You may have a new department that you haven't put in your ERP system yet, or you will want to rearrange your structure for 2026 versus 2025. So be able to plan on this and still keeping your ERP system intact and just flowing your actuals into that structure is really important. You can also use it for adding attributes to your dimensions, so for reporting purposes. So for taxonomy and others, you can tag them. So here it's like easy. You can just drag and drop, as he says that. You can just click on plus, give it a name, and put it into your structure. And then you have a department structure for that particular version. And when I talk about versioning, so versioning is an extremely important setup. So in version management, and what do we use this for? We use it for multiple purposes. So I'm just going to put up a version set here for forecast. So forecast is a process, and we have version of that process. It's a full copy of the application. So that means that I can change anything. So I can use versioning for simulation. So if I want to change some of the input, or I want to change some assumptions, or I want to change a structure, or I want to change whatever, create a version. Maybe it's secret because we're going to buy a company. So it's only going to be the central finance team that has access to it. And then you can do your simulation and see how that data set is coming out. And it's easy and we use it also for using a version to do upgrade. We do a version for a rolling forecast. So if you have rolling forecast, so creating a version is as simple as this. Give it a name with the budget. I'm copying it for this one, create, and then I can say, okay, do I roll this forward 3 months, 1 month? Do I just make it no rollover because it's just going to be a simulation portion, and then not roll it forward, but just make a copy of it and then deploy? Then you could make a copy, coming back. You have your version and you can start, doing your simulation, for example. So that is a very strong, which is really, really useful for many people. Report setup, if I take that one, report setup is where you map and create your report. So we saw the report in Power BI, right? In many cases, finance is the one that says, okay, all these accounts are going to be grouped into these levels, and here's my structure. Yep. It's much easier to use that as here and just create here. You can just add lines and so forth. And then you map accounts to the lines. You can see all the accounts coming in here. And I can just do edit. And this will typically come from the ERP system. And then you will just click off this, and then you're good to go. You can also do checks and see if you have overlapping accounts. So if you have ranges and you suddenly did a mistake and overlapped them within there, so count them twice. Typical mistake that you did that, and then you're trying to figure out why it doesn't add up. So that's a good function. And yeah, so here you can create all your report definition, and that will be part of your export. And when you're in Power BI, you just consume it, and then your report will be ready to go. I mentioned that creating a JSON file, and that's part of the structure, right? So creating the subtotal and so forth. So this portion here is linked to the financial reporting matrix. Yep. So it consumes it there, but here you define it. So here you can say style and cost and what is subtotals and so forth, and that will create a string that is used for the structure of the report in Power BI.
So it gives you a great starting point for visual.
Yeah, absolutely. Input we talked about, versioning we talked about, comments and notes we're going to talk about. And then all that is reused and gone into Power BI. Or it could go to Click as well. So it's a definition, it's a data set. Yep. But of course, we have some visuals and add-ons in Power BI that makes it just a little bit more simple.
We prefer Power BI.
Yeah, but it's a good tool, but it could be others as well.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. We talked about this versioning already. It could be versioning of risk. It could be versioning on consolidation and so forth to others. So we have that concept across the CFO platform for all our solutions. And that creates the data sets that you will be looking at. So then it is, how do we measure, are we good at this? Are we good at this forecasting? So we have questions. So who owns the numbers in the organization? So if you answer that, then we kind of go back to that. But report is a simple report. It's just an exemplification of a report. So we call the department optimistic, pessimistic, and neutral, just to make it easy for us to understand what it is. So you have the optimistic person that's going to tell you everything is fine, and then your actual comes in. It's like, no, it didn't go as planned. So here's an example where you have 4-5 data sets. So you have your forecast 9 months ago, you have your forecast 6 months ago for February, then you have your 3 months forecast for February, you have your budget for February, and then your actuals, the actual result.
Yeah.
And the reason we call this the optimistic, it's optimistic until it hits you, right? So, and you always, that has impact on your ability to plan.
Of course, yep.
And you likewise, if the ones that is pessimistic all the time and then overachieve, it gets a clap on the shoulder, but you're not able to invest because you haven't had the money or thought you're going to have the money to do the investment, for example. So and then you can create examples like absolute deviance and then kind of measure your input users on how good they are on planning. By doing that, I'm seeing tremendous improvement in the accuracy of the input just by doing the measurement of your input on proper. So that is the quality of the input. So let's see who owns the data. It's going to be interesting to see who owns the data in the organization. Let's see here. And we have the result. Finance controls everything, so that is 1/3. So that is century steered. Quite a few organizations do that, especially if they're using spreadsheets. So it's a shared between business and finance, which is 39%, and then you have it depends or business unit own their data, which is 11%. So yeah, again, not a big surprise, but it is, in my opinion, finance should be supporting the business and creating value on the business, and they own their data. But that means that you need to distribute it to the people and have system and support for that.
Yep.
If not, it's going to be kind of doing the best you can from a central place. So that depends on how, and obviously your business model and everything. But yeah. Now we're going to go into more disclosure management. So disclosure management is kind of how do you present your reports? And you showed this one where you have your commenting inside the visuals.
Yep.
That's one. And as you can see here, this is a live report. It's live data in the report. So I'm now I have embedded this Power BI report into PowerPoint. So I can see the comments and everything inside here. And here I can just make it a snapshot. And if I make it a snapshot, then it means that this is fixed. So you can use Power BI and PowerPoint combined.
Right. So the snapshot will give access to people who don't have access to the report to view in the PowerPoint. So
So it's a good way of doing that. We also have a way of doing it. So here's a combination where you have your comment. What we do then is not embed the commenting and notes inside the visuals, but we put it in a database. And then we're using our CFO platform to do that commenting. So I'm just going to take an example here. So if I have comments like this, so I have this is in Norwegian, but on operation, investment, income, liquidity, and others, you can make your comments in the structure of your departments, your year and month, and then that will be part of your data output, and you can put it into the reports. You can add comments like here, and then you are in the CFO platform and make your comments, and you can have your templates. So example, I would have a quarterly report, board meeting, ESG, whatever data sets you want to have, and then you will have different kind of dimensions that the comments is on, and you can edit your comments, and then it will be part of your export, and you can look at it in Power BI. And it could be just gonna pull up a report that is more on commenting. This one, here you can see inside Power BI, you will have notes like this that notify that it is a comment on this one, and then you will have your comments on the side here. And if I click on this one, on the Q2, we have run, and so forth. So you will have different comments on the lines here, and you can click on this one, and if you have access, you will go into the CFO platform and can edit your comment or copy this comment to another month and so forth. So this is a way to combine the CFO platform and Power BI in a good way.
Yep, absolutely.
Out of the box, we do have a good set of standard reports. So like this one, we have a model behind here.
Yep.
So if you're using the CFO platform and want to kind of quickly get to value, you can do the standard export of the planning, the report, and the calculation. So you can do the planning, the report, and the calculation. And then you can have your calculations. So you can do the calculation, and then you will have your calculations on the side here. And if I click on this one, on the Q2, we have run, and so forth. So this is a way to combine the CFO platform and Power BI in a good way.
Yep, absolutely.
portion, and then you have reports like this out of the box. So, for example, income statements with your department structure and so forth. You will have it loading a little bit here. So, like, yeah, you will have your different versions. So you can select versions that you want to look at. You can have baseline and so forth, or and year and so forth. So these are reports that is coming out of the box for the ones that are using the CFO platform. And so it's a good head start. The organization would obviously start changing this to exactly what they do, but the whole semantic model behind it is already in place. So it gives a very good starting point to get started with Power BI for the ones that is not using it. And you have cash and so forth, so like cash flow reports and so forth. So this is a good starting point. And commenting is, and as I said, you can embed it into PowerPoint and use that as your disclosure management portion.
Yep.
A little bit customer examples. So who do we help? We have this. These are some of the customers. You will not see a specific industry. We work with kind of a lot of different industry, both public and private, but mostly the one that drives a P&L type of kind of view on the organization. It will be everything from retailer to energy and so forth. So it's not a system that helps a specific industry. We have partners that is very good in some of these industry that we combine our offering with, but it's very, in that sense, generic. So I think Amund has been doing some answering of some of the questions. Do we have any questions that?
Yes, we have a question here from Cecilia. So will the budget and forecast be consolidated in the system at group level, including elimination of intercompany sales and purchases?
Very good question. We have a consolidation solution as well, which you do the elimination, you do your acquisition and write-off of partially owned companies or company you own. So you do consolidate, and you can also consolidate your budget, and if you use your counterparty and when you do the budgeting or your forecasting. So both the group consolidation and roll up from a consolidation and statutory standpoint, but also rolling up just your budgeting forecast if you don't have intercompany. So both. It's a good answer. Good question for both.
Both, yes.
Yeah. And that's a good thing. You have in the same system, so you don't have to maintain both sides because it's almost the same. It's just the actual side versus the forecasting side.
Right. So do you have more detailed demos we can access to build reports? Yes, we do. So we'll be contacting you and give you some.
Yeah. So what we want to do, we will send the BIX file for the Power BI BIX file out to every attendees, so they will have the examples that Joachim was going through.
Yep. And more.
And more. So it's example reports. And if you are stuck, we're not a consultancy firm, but we will help our customers if we can and give them guidance.
Yep.
So just contact us. And if you want to know more about anything of what we showed you or go more in depth, we have both on our website. We will have demos that goes into details of each, items both on the CFO platform, the different solutions we have, and we have a lot of resources in GitHub and on YouTube.
Right.
So both other webinars and the specific features and so forth. So scan this code. We're going to send the presentation out, not with the embedded Power BI and stuff, but the others. So here's if you want to contact us, and we will hopefully hear from you. And hopefully this was valuable for everyone. So have a great day, and looking forward to hear from you.
See you.
Bye-bye.